Hi everyone, in this video we are going to solve a few examples based on the general equation of a circle. As we have seen in the previous video, if the general equation of a circle is x squared plus y squared plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equals 0, then the center is located at negative g comma negative f and the radius of the circle would be equal to square root of g squared plus f squared minus c, and also it is same as square root of h squared plus k squared minus c, where h and k are the coordinates of the center. H is equal to negative g and k is equal to negative f. Let's take our first example here. The question says find the center and radius of the circle whose equation is x squared plus y squared minus 10x plus 6y plus 9 is equal to 0. Before seeing the solution, you can give it a try yourself, and after that of course you want to match with my solution. In the previous video we have seen that h is equal to negative half of the coefficient of x. So in this case, what would be the value of h? Well, we can write it as negative half of the coefficient of x, that is negative 10. So that will be equal to positive 5. So we have found the x coordinate of the center of this circle. Similarly, let's try to find the y coordinate of the center of the circle. We know that k is equal to negative half times the coefficient of y in the general equation, and in this case the coefficient of y is actually positive 6. So k will be equal to negative 1/2 times positive 6, and that will be equal to negative 3. So we have found the y coordinate of the center as well. That means the coordinates of the center are 5, negative 3. So we can say that the center is located at 5, negative 3. Now that we have been able to find the center, let's now try to find the radius. Well, in the general equation there, c is equal to positive 9, and we know that radius is equal to square root of h squared plus k squared minus c. So let's just plug in the values now. So radius will be equal to square root of 5 squared plus negative 3 squared minus 9, and that will be equal to square root of 25 plus 9 minus 9, which is equal to square root of 25, and that is equal to 5. Therefore, we can say that the radius of this circle is equal to 5 units. And we have found both the answers for this question. I hope the solution made sense. Let's take a look at the second example. The second example says find the center and radius of the circle whose equation is 4x squared plus 4y squared plus 8x minus 32y plus 4 is equal to 0. Here again, before seeing the solution, give it a try yourself, and after that of course you want to match with my solution. We know the general equation of a circle is like x squared plus y squared plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equals 0. And here one very important thing to notice is that the coefficient of x squared and coefficient of y squared terms, the coefficient is actually equal to 1. Now look at the equation that has been provided in this question. There the coefficient of x squared is 4 and also the coefficient of y squared is 4. Now if we multiply both sides of this general equation by uppercase A, let's say that's like a real number, then the equation will transform into something like this. It would be ax squared plus ay squared plus 2agx plus 2afy plus a times c is equal to 0. Now if you look at the equation in our example, looks like the coefficient of x squared is 4 and coefficient of y squared is also 4. So somehow we have to change the coefficient of x squared to 1 and the coefficient of y squared to 1. So our only option here is to divide both sides of this equation by 4. And if we do that, we are going to convert the equation into x squared plus y squared plus the 8x will become 2x minus the 32y will become 8y plus 4 will become 1, and all of that is equal to 0. 0 divided by 4 will be 0 anyways. Now what would be the value of h, the x coordinate of the center? Well, it's actually negative half times the coefficient of x. So that will be negative half times 2, and that will be equal to negative 1. So we have found the x coordinate of the center. Let's now try to find the y coordinate of the center. We know that k is equal to negative half times the coefficient of the y term. So in this case it will be negative half times negative 8, and that will be equal to positive 4. So we have found the y coordinate of the center as well. So then we can say that the center is located at negative 1, 4. Now let's try to calculate the length of the radius. We know the formula of radius is equal to square root of h squared plus k squared minus c. So let's just plug in the values here. We can write it as square root of negative 1 whole squared plus 4 squared minus 1, because in this case c is equal to positive 1 and h is equal to negative 1 and k is equal to 4. And if we simplify this, it is going to look like square root of 1 plus 16 minus 1. So that will be equal to square root of 16, and that is equal to 4. So the radius of this circle is 4 units. So we have been able to find the location of the center and the length of the radius. Now let's take a look at the third example. The third example says a circle passes through the points 4, 1 and 6, 5. Its center lies on the line 4x plus y minus 16 equals 0. Find its equation. So here we have to find the equation of the circle. Here again, before seeing the solution, please give it a try yourself, and after that of course you want to match with my solution. We know that the general equation of a circle is like x squared plus y squared plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equals 0. Now because the circle passes through the point 4, 1, that point must satisfy the equation of the circle. So let's satisfy the equation with the coordinates of that point, and that's exactly what I have done here. In place of x I am using 4 and in place of y I am using 1. So the general equation can be written as 4 squared, that's for x squared, and then 1 squared, that's for y squared, and then for 2gx I have written as 2g times 4 plus 2fy I have written 2f times 1 plus c I have kept it as plus c, and all of that is equal to 0. So here you see there are actually 3 unknowns, the g, f and c, and we have to find the value of those 3 unknowns. That means we are going to need 3 equations. And if we simplify this equation, it actually turns into 8g plus 2f plus c equals negative 17. And let's call it equation number 1. Next I am going to plug in the x and y coordinates of the second point into this equation. So in place of x I am using 6 and in place of y I am using 5. And if we simplify the equation, we are going to get 12g plus 10f plus c equals negative 61. And let's call it equation number 2. Also we have been told that the center lies on that line. The equation of the line is 4x plus y minus 16 equals 0. So if the center lies on that line, then the coordinates of the center must satisfy that equation. That means negative g and negative f must satisfy that equation. So let's do that. So in that equation, in place of x I have used negative g, and in place of y I have used negative f. So the equation looks like this: 4 times negative g plus negative f minus 16 is equal to 0. And if we simplify this, we are going to get negative 4g minus f is equal to 16. And let's call it equation number 3. Now we have to solve these 3 equations to find the value of g, f and c. Looks like if we multiply the equation number 3 by a 2, and then if we add that with equation number 1, then we can easily find the value of c. So if we multiply equation number 3 by a 2, it becomes negative 8g minus 2f is equal to 32, and let's call that as equation number 4. And then I'm going to add equation number 1 with equation number 4, and the result of this addition is giving us c equals 15. So we have been able to find one of the 3 unknowns. We see that c is equal to positive 15. Let's try to find the value of g and f. In equation number 2, let's plug in the value of c. Then we get something like this: 12g plus 10f plus 15 is equal to negative 61. And from there we can say that 12g plus 10f is equal to negative 76. And let's call it equation number 5. And let's do the same thing on equation number 1. There we get 8g plus 2f plus 15. In place of c I am using positive 15, and if we simplify that, we get 8g plus 2f is equal to negative 32. Let's call it equation number 6. Next I am going to multiply equation number 6 by 5 and then subtract equation number 5 from the new equation. That way we can easily calculate the value of g. So multiplying equation number 6 by a 5, we get 40g plus 10f is equal to negative 160, and then I am going to subtract equation number 5, which is actually 12g plus 10f is equal to negative 76. So I am now going to do a subtraction here, and the result of this subtraction will be 28g is equal to negative 84, and from here we get g as negative 3. Now let's try to find the value of f. From equation number 3, we can use the value of g and then calculate the value of f. So if we plug in the value of g in equation number 3, we get negative 4 times negative 3 minus f is equal to 16. And from here, f will be equal to 12 minus 16, which is equal to negative 4. So we have been able to find the value of c, g and f. And those are the 3 unknowns that we needed to calculate. Now that we know the value of g, f and c, we should be able to plug in that information in the general equation of the circle, and that will give us the actual equation of this circle. So here I have plugged in the value of g, f and c in the general equation of the circle. So now the general equation looks like x squared plus y squared plus 2 times negative 3 times x plus 2 times negative 4 times y plus 15 is equal to 0. And if we simplify this, the equation looks like x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 8y plus 15 is equal to 0. And that is the equation of this circle. That's exactly what we needed to determine for this question. I hope all of the solutions made sense. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.